What is up, my people? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Man, it's weird taking a day off. I feel out of the groove. I know it's only one day, but feels like it's been much longer than one day from being on this side of the screen and seeing you guys. Good to see you. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim. As you guys come in, please do me a favor, a couple things, little housekeeping. As you come in, please hit the like and the subscribe. It's how you can help this channel. Thank you very much. All right. Well, let's see. A lot has happened. Yes. I don't, I don't know if I'll ever end up, even if the channel, continues to grow, or let's be positive, as the channel continues to grow, I don't know that I'm ever going to do like what a lot of these other channels do and break down the same news that everyone's doing, especially like when everyone's kind of saying a lot of the same things. The whole Trump thing is crazy. Man, I don't know where to sit right now on was Butler, PA staged, because that changes a lot of things. If it was, I saw Zach's show today with the photos that seem to maybe have come out years ago. I don't get I don't know. Maybe I didn't read the whole thing or listen to the whole thing, but like the pictures and how it's all like discolored, and I don't know what that is all about yet. I haven't had time. You guys, this week it's going to be a late week every day this week for me. But yeah, so like the whole correspondent dinner thing, super bizarre, super weird, a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, I've seen, was the video of him coming out with the sign AI faked. I don't know, a lot of weird stuff there. But like I was saying, I don't know that I'm ever going to break down the same news that everyone else is doing. So many people have already done that. They did it over the weekend, and then others did it today. For me, I'm staying, pretty focused on the Charlie Kirk investigation, what happened at UVU, and trying to find more about that day. Maybe eventually I'll branch out. There's other things I want to do, though. I don't really want to just tell the news, but anyway, sorry, allergies. Let's see. All right. So, man, I've been going back and looking at all of the different campus events of Charlie Kirk. And there's so many, and a lot of them, it's hard to find the full ones, but when I do, it gives me more to look at. However, what we need to keep in mind, and I was telling Zach this as well, that the reason why the UVU review video shows so much more is because that's not a TPUSA video, right? That was UVU's, school paper, student-led paper video. It's unedited. From at least for what we know, it's unedited. It's the whole wide angle shot. Most of the videos that we would eventually see of Charlie that was produced and edited by TPUSA, we would see like a couple different shots. We'd see the front corner shot of Charlie, and then they would cut the screen and have the student-led facing camera on the other, and they would go 50-50. And then like in between speakers and, students coming up to the mic, they would do the behind the camera shot, and they would show the size of the crowd, right? But rarely do we get a video of the entire front, looking at a distance and looking at the stage from a distance, excuse me, which shows like all the different security team members. And so it's been hard to find. I'm trying to find video, and if you guys find any that like any of the campuses, their personal student, media, what is it? Like the UVU review video like that, but for the different campuses events that came before the Utah Valley event. If there's any videos like that in existence that are from a different angle of these past events and they're unedited and they show the full angle of Charlie, the stage, the AV team, the setup, all the different security team members, their place, where do they usually stand, how is their body language? If any of you guys find that stuff, please send it to me at the blacklinebrief at gmail.com. I haven't been able to find any yet. Been looking, but like I showed a little bit at the night that we had Jay the Yapper on, which I liked that. I thought it was a very productive, good conversation. I really liked having him on, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. I want to have him back on. Also, we are going to have Mitch Snow back on. And Mitch, if you're watching, sorry I didn't call yesterday, man. I spent like the whole day doing yard work, and yeah, it was an exhausting day yesterday. By the time I got to the after, I was so beat, and I was like, I can't make it to do a show, you know. But I'll call you, Mitch. So I'm sorry I didn't call you, man. But once that happens, then Mitch and I can set up the next Mitch on the Blackline Brief episode. All right, but back to what I was saying. I've been trying to find these discrepancies, differences, setup differences, because when we look at the UVU review video and the UVU event, a lot of people, without even really knowing, you know, previous setups, criticized how things were different. You know, that it was the day of many firsts and many lasts. And this is true in some regards, you know. Terrell Farnsworth, there might be a campus event that he was at before. I haven't found it yet. Once again, I don't have a wide angle lens from a distance like we do with the UVU review video. That's hard to say really fast. UVU review video. But I've been searching through all these past events looking for discrepancies, differences, consistencies even, right? And most of the time I would agree that when Charlie was set up, his AV system was on the right, and Dan Flood would be to the back left most of the time. However, there are a couple I found where that's not the case. There's a couple that I found where the AV's on the left and Dan Flood's to the back right. I think what we need to keep in mind is the unique layout of each campus, right? Where there are outlets for them to plug everything in. Also, it has to adhere to the security team exit plan. Like they have to have a clear plan of exit where things are set up and where people are placed. It also has to do with, do they have behind the stage completely blocked off and no one can access it at all? Or are there, as Brian Harper would say, unknowns back there, right? Right. Frank Turek's a known. He's a known. So what I did discover is some differences, and I'm going to point some of those out. And we're going to look at the UVU review video, and we're going to look at some old videos. All right? Cool. Let's get into it. All right, this is the one that I already showed a little bit, but I'll just point some things out as we go into it, all right? First and foremost, the center beam does not have the back camera up here, all right? It looks like there's some sort of electrical wiring here, but I don't see the actual camera there. So here, the back camera shot is down below, okay? On this side, the AV system is set up on the right. The front camera is set up on the right as well. Okay. Well, at UVU, it's on the other side, right? The AV is here and the front. Well, they got another camera over here. They got two on both sides.
You know how it works. You got
here.
I look at Masty.
So this is like the first one. And look who we have here, right? We got Mikey, we got Dan, and we have Brian Harple, right? Dan Flood, Mikey McCoy, Brian Harple. I have struggled to find any other video, campus event video with Brian Harple in it. This is the only one. And I will say, at no point during this, I don't know, hour and 12-minute video, does he ever cross his arms like he did that day at UVU. He doesn't ever do this. And he sure as heck never does this. Okay. Hands are at the side. Sometimes thumbs are inside the front pockets, not twisting, not digging, right? Or they are kind of held like this, but down in front of him. And for the most part, right, Dan Flood stands like this, like at his belly button with his hands like this. Sometimes, however, Dan Flood does stand with his arms down by his side. So there are, you know, it's not as many videos to say that Dan Flood's behavior at UVU that day was uniquely different. I would say, though, it was 80 to 90% different, though. Well, and the only other time that I saw, and I couldn't find it because I don't know where in the video it is, but I'm pretty sure it's the Texas A&M or University of Texas campus event where Charlie's like talking with someone and they mention signs. I think they're talking about sports. And then like Dan Flood like looks at someone, like another member, and he does his arm thing, which is weird with the context of signs being mentioned. And then he does that. But outside of those two instances, I've never seen Dan Flood do anything like that, which is weird. All right. But let's get back to here. All right. I'm not going to play this video, but there's one I want to play at the end. Okay. Let's see if I can scroll over just for the most part. So here he's got his thumbs in his front right pocket, right? Here we got Dan Flood with his hands at his belly button, kind of fist, palm over fist. And that is like 90% of how he stands. Okay. And most of the time, Brian Harple is standing with his hands kind of folded in front of him. Sometimes he goes thumbs in pockets. Other times he goes just hands down by the side. One thing that is unique, very, very unique, you guys, is this. Guess where Charlie would always put the mic when he was not talking? 95% of the time, I'll play the video. I'll show you. Shout out to the most humble host. Is he here? What do you mean? I've never described myself as that. That's Baron. What do you mean? He gave me a shout out? I doubt that. What do you mean? Nature. Wait, no, get back here. Nature Nectar. Wait, Nature's Nectar. Shout out to the most humble host. Can you explain what you mean by that? You, Matt? I am? Aw. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's you, Matt. It's satire. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm slow. Man, I'm beat right now. Okay. All right. But I just missed you guys. We missed you last night. Oh, what up, Jim Bear? How you doing? Hold on. There. What up, Jim Bear? How's it going, man? Hold on. Let me check with Mystic. Make sure the audio video looks good. It does. She means you. Everyone's like, she means you, dude. Okay. I'm trying. All right, guys. All right, let's get back to it. So where was I at? Charlie, when he's waiting for the student, or while he's allowing the student to speak, Charlie puts the mic down in his lap, like in his crotch area. He usually wears usually it's like elastic kind of like these pants. They're not sweatpants. I don't know what they're called, and he sets him down. He sets the mic down in his lap and then he pulls it back up and he sets it down. Sorry, if I keep doing that, I'll do this. I have a cough button. Well, it's just a mute button, but you know what I mean. Never Never. I have watched, I don't even know how many hours now. And keep in mind, the reason why I've had to rewatch these, I watched them before Charlie was assassinated, but I was never looking for anything, right? I was just watching Charlie debate these kids. So I was never looking for all this stuff. So even though I've seen most of these events, I'm going back with like a fresh new eyes, looking for all these things to see what stood out differently from UVU and the rest of these campus events. I have yet to find one, you guys, where Charlie holding the mic near him, near the road mic, on his body interferes with the AV. I've yet to find one. I'm not going to say it doesn't exist because it might, but I haven't found it. So that's already an issue for me. Never before that I've seen. Maybe his like old ones, he set it down on the table most of the time. Like the good majority of the time, he sets it down in his lap. And I'll play it. You can see. And I'm going to scoot forward. Okay. Because the purpose of this is to show you guys the differences and similarities in setup and comparing that to UVU.
Should jobs first go to native-born people of your country or to foreigners?
Well, my issue with that is that
boom, right there in the lap. He's got his mic on. It's right here. And it's always like that. Okay. So what we saw at UVU isn't really, sorry, man, as different as I think many thought at first, right? How the mic was pinned on the shirt. It's a t-shirt. Okay. Guess what a t-shirt doesn't really have? It doesn't have a lot of support when you put a heavy mic on it. So what's going to happen when you magnetize a mic that's pretty big, right? On the inside, it's going to pull down and it's kind of going to hang right there. And it's going to make it look a little weird on the outside. But it always did that. And it always, for the majority, at least in the last year or two, maybe the really old ones when they still had the windsock on it and it was closer up here. All right. Within the last year or two, this is what it looked like for the most part. And so that wasn't really a different, variable at UVU from these previous campus events. Okay. Him putting it in his lap, though, consistently and having no issues with the AV, that's interesting. He couldn't even really set it on the table. It was having so much issue. Every time he set it down and brought it near either something underneath the shirt, the necklace, or the mic, there was an issue. So much so, Terrell eventually comes over and tells him, pass it off to the left and put it further away from you. Oh, so that is different. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's go move along.
native workers and immigrant workers typically work different positions, right? Unauthorized workers take the construction jobs, the low-level.
And so let's see if I can scoot along here just so that you guys, Brian does leave you for a second and then he comes right back. Let's see where he comes back. He steps to the side. Obviously, so this campus event, Brian is covering this back quadrant. This is his zone of responsibility because it's not like UVU, right? Let's see. Let's go to UVU. All right, UVU, right? So all of these people back here, but behind this gate. Wait, am I sharing? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. All right. Everyone behind this gate back here, they're all considered known. Okay. One way, shape, or another. All of these people back here had to be approved to be back here. And everyone on the left side, even the people in the van, right? There is this barrier, this last barrier of defense before the security team is, posted up right there. And this guy, Blake, is actually on the other side of this fence. You can see the front of his body, right? There's this fence and then another fence because this is where a lot of the students who speak are. And then there's another gate which keeps everyone else back. But here is Blake, the security team member. But all these people are known, okay? Going back to this event, right? Because, oh, and you know what I can pull up too? The Hall of, hold on. I'm going to pull up Google Earth and show you the campus to show you how they were able to kind of block off that whole area behind Charlie. All right. All right. Hopefully, YouTube is in a good mood today and doesn't mess up my stream at any point. So we'll see. Play ball. All right. All right. So, well, let me go back out a little bit. All right. So this is where they enter and exit, right? Drive in, turn around. Charlie's posted up right here, right? There are no students up on this part. There is a caution, like police, caution tape, here and over here. So no one's allowed in this area, but there are students over here and there are students in this corner and then on these stairs. All right. But no one behind the security team, right? And Charlie back here is unknown. They're all known. So they were able to ensure that this whole area back here is all blocked off from randos. Okay. But in this event, that's not the case because every college is a little different and the layout is a little different, right? And the courtyard where they choose to allow Charlie and his team to set up is a little different, right? It has to check a lot of boxes, right? I'm sure it gets approved by the campus, but it also has to meet like the media team specifications and the AV team specifications and needs. Maybe Charlie he weighs in on it as well, but then the security team probably has one of the last says on whether or not, yeah, this is an okay area or no, it's not. I would think that would be like the last box to be checked, right? Like all these. Okay, yes, we have electrical, we got outlets, we got egress, we got entry and egress, all these things. Okay, security team has to like verify, like, yeah, this is a good setup. We can work with this. But so on this event, right? Not UVU, but this one, there's clearly students and unknowns on this outside that wrap around. Okay, and you'll see that because Brian, he's looking out and then he's looking back. So he checks back and forth often, but there's clearly lots of unknowns. So the whole back area, I'm sure like directly behind Dan Flood and Charlie, like that one corridor, like straight back is blocked off, but there are unknowns wrapping around the sides. Okay.
Pulling them up out of their roots is damaging.
So,
but let me ask you
look,
one final.
It even starts raining, right? And at no point, and it's cold, right? But at no point does Brian Harple cross his arms like he did that day at UVU. Okay. He does see how he's looking back now the other side. He's talking in his mic.
Sure.
Can you raise it for you?
Sure. Thank you. Nice. Nice. 1, 2, 3. Howdy, Charlie.
So I will, I guess, amend my previous statement. Charlie does set the mic down on the table, not during the conversation. In between students, when he's taking sips of his coffee or his tea, I think it's usually tea. It looks like it was tea there too. And I remember Mikey talked about Charlie drinking tea. He'll set it down on the table so that he can then drink, and then he puts a drink down, and then he picks up the mic for the conversation. While conversations are being had, Mike goes in the lap in between the back and forth volleys. Okay. So for the most part, everything stays very much the same. Like nothing really changes. Brian will turn around. For the most part, he stands like that the whole time, and so does Dan Flood. Dan Flood's on the left. AV setup and everything's on the right. Okay. And Brian Harple's in the back left on the other side of that fence, right? There are some times where him and Dan Flood talk, but that's normal. I think what seems to be different is I never see, well, and we only really get to see the in-between shots. Like, let's see, in-between speakers, like wait, where did it switch? Oh, that was a quick in-between. It's usually, let's go to the last one. Right here. They'll do the in-between shot. Okay. But I never really get to tell. And there's Blake in the front. This guy's usually always in the front. So is this guy. That's what these people's positions usually is always the same. Okay. What I found to be different is Brian's seems to be different. And I don't know why. Maybe he's a floater. He fills in where there's a need. Maybe it has to do with the layout, the size, threats. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of variables to account for that I can't speak of because I don't know, right? But let's keep jumping ahead. You'll see even in a downpour, he never crosses his arms like he does that day at UVU. And I know I'm skipping a lot, but you just have to trust me. I've watched this whole thing and I've watched the rest, okay? He just doesn't. All right. Hands stay the same. Dan Flood's hands stay the same as well. All right. Now, one thing I do want to get to before we get to the next video is this guy right here. Let's see. Pay attention to the last thing one of the last things Charlie says to this kid. This must be in Texas. The guy's got a Buc-ee's hat on. This must be somewhere in Texas.
Hey, Charlie. Would you identify yourself as ultra conservative?
Ultra MAGA conservative.
Okay.
How about that?
Awesome. So
The reason why I pointed that in the beginning, right? Like everyone that's on this side of the fence are known, right? So this girl is a known. I don't know who she is, but this dude is a known, right? Or else Brian Harple and Dan Flood would be looking at them and being like, get out of here, right? Well, no, they're part of the team in one way, shape, or form. And so that being said, I reference that because that means at UVU, everyone back there in that area, right, in one way, shape, or form or another is affiliated and approved by TPUSA and the security team to be back there. They're all knowns, even though some of them are pretty new, never seen before.
I would say that I'm pretty moderate. Both sides hate me, and I'm fine with that. I was just wondering if there was some kind of left idea or left policy that you agreed with,
No.
or if there was a policy that Trump has put in place that you disagree with.
No.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Canada being the 51st state just because we already have enough libs in this country. So an idea of the left I agree with. Yeah, I'd have to think about
Here
that.
it comes.
I mean, if a true liberal is anti-war, then I agree with them on that.
Why?
Because I tend to be anti-foreign involvement rather radically.
Rather radically. Anti-foreign involvement rather radically. Wow. Does that sound like, Charlie would be supporting this war right now? Does it? Does that? No, it sure doesn't. Okay. And I would have to say that the whole reason why, and the main reason why he was okay with the Fordo bombing is because no troops on the ground. It was limited. They had a clear mission and outcome. Like they knew when they would be mission accomplished, right? Like, okay, you fly in, you bomb your sites, you're out, you're done, right? We're good. And so even there, though, we know he was cautioning Trump against it, but he was going to be okay with it to lean and trust Trump as long as that was it. The moment BB and Philly came back and wanting more, talking regime change, and all that's happened since the assassination to now with whether that even be with Venezuela and Iran, 100% he is radically anti-foreign involvement, foreign war against war, just straight up. So I don't know how Erica TPUSA, Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff could even be acting like it was anything other than that. You know? All right, let's move to the next clip. Okay. So, yeah, this one does have the camera up above behind, right? It is different from the UVU review video, right? That one, man, I don't want to. Let's see. Hold on. Let me make sure the volume is off. Let me jump far enough ahead where we see Terrell. I don't want to mess too much. I don't want to mess with this. I really don't want to make YouTube mad. The camera at UVU is a different camera than this one. I'll just say that much, okay? That's the one I showed already. Here we go. All right. Wait, did I click on this one? This is the one I clicked on. Sorry. We'll get to that other one next, right? So once again, I need to double check my work to make sure that I'm sharing the screen properly. All right. Once again, we have Dan Flood back left, and we have no AV setup on the left. And if we were to wait for the back shot camera angle, and once again, too, like, there is no feedback issues with the mic. He's holding it in his hand in between speakers. Okay. Let's see where he switches. I want to see the back angle. Hold on. It's in between students when they show the back angle, unless they clip to all commercials in between students. There. Oh, come on, man.
Praise God. That is the American dream. Thank you very much.
It's hard work.
Thank you. Thank you.
So here we go, right? AV set up on the right. This is the norm, okay? We have one camera on the front right corner for the front shot, and they do have another camera on here, but this camera is actually facing at the students, okay? That's what this camera is doing. This camera on the tripod is facing at the students, right? This camera is facing at Charlie, and then obviously the one up and behind is facing, it's that angle, right? That faces out to the crowd, okay? That is the norm setup. However, let's see. I can get to another one. 1 second. Yeah. And that is Philip Goldsberry, who, by the way, we, me and a couple other people on X over the weekend found his Instagram, and he allowed me to friend request him and access his Instagram. And then he must have been paying attention to the chatter on X, because I forget who it was. Me, I think Sam Parker and somebody else. We were like, somebody was like, is this Philip Goldsberry's Instagram? And I go over and I start looking. I'm like, yeah, that's Sam. And I was able to get like a screenshot of like all of his photos, which was like him and Charlie, TPUSA events, like Erica, like everyone. And it says like, that's who he works for and stuff like that. And then within minutes, I was blocked from accessing his Instagram profile. So I don't know. That was quick. But yeah, so that is Philip right on the front right side. But here, let's get to this event. Okay. Once again, we do see the camera up here to in behind.
Disagree, go to the front of the line. We'll have a great chat. And
here again, we have Dan Flood back left. Dan Flood, hands crossed here in front. And no Brian Harple in the back this time. Let's see. I don't know who. Oh, there's Mikey McCoy back there snapping pictures. I don't know who this guy is. It doesn't look like that normal big buff white guy because I think that guy's usually always in the front. I think they put like some of the really scary SOBs in front. Let's see. Yep, I got a big guy. Pretty sure that's probably Blake, the security team member, if we could see his face. This guy's always in the front, right? But this is also the normal setup right here, right? So 2 fences, or these are bike racks, I guess they call them, right? And speakers come through, whether that be at UVU, it was on this side, and then they would exit that way. This campus, they are entering on the left, and then they exit to the right, okay? Once again, we have front right camera, no front right left camera, and we have Philip and the AV on the right. So typically what I've seen is whatever side the AV equipment is set up on, whether that's right or left, that's the same side that the camera will be on, right? And UVU, it's on this side, so it's all on this side. And then that also kind of determines what side this other corner back camera is, because at UVU, this is the one facing the students, right? Let's see if I can go there and get a better shot. Yeah, there we go. All right, so here we have, let me make sure I'm showing it. Yeah, there it is. All right. This camera, right here, this is the one facing the students, okay? Here is the AV table. And then on this side, because AV's on this side, all of that, here is the front camera facing Charlie, all right? This camera, in my opinion, this is the smoking gun in the Charlie Kirk assassination. I even think this one is more important than the back. And I think that's why Terrell allowed the back video to be released, even though it was scrubbed over and it was a recording or a FaceTime of his screen. Literally, all the back showed was no exit wound. That's all it showed. This front camera would show everything. Watch how close. It would show everything, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, who knows how many frames per second that camera is shooting. And in fact, this one, let me go back here. Wait. Where? Man. There. This camera looks a little smaller even. I don't know. I can't see the side on it, but this camera, maybe it's the same camera. Oh my God, oh my goodness, I didn't even switch and show you guys. That's why you guys are like, what are you talking about, dude? Sorry. So this camera looks a little smaller. It might not be, right? This is just a different angle, okay? And what I was saying is, this is how close. Did I really not show it again? How far behind is my feed? Holy smokes, how far behind is this feed? All right, well, I'm sharing it now. I know that much. All right. This is how close up and how high quality that front camera would be, okay? This is the angle, the camera, the SD card we need. We would be able to prove everything. Every question beyond a shadow of a doubt would be proven with this front angle camera, okay? I'll even just play a short clip of it to show you guys how fast, I mean, how much, all the little movements it picks up. Can you imagine each frame broken down? You know, John Bray and other people breaking down frame by frame in this front video camera from UVU. Let's see, Jim Bear. Explain why Terrell Farnsworth immediately grabbed the cameras before leaving after Charlie's assassination. That seemed like his first instinct, not calling his wife or anything, going max for Charlie. Thanks, Jim Bear. Well, sort of. So no. Terrell's first instinct was to document the event. It was to, cowardly turn and walk away, climb up onto these rocks that's like this wall, like do this really weird selfie vlog of the event to pronounce Charlie dead. He said they killed him. They shot him. He's dead. God help him. He's dead. And he did his whole like, you know, and then he's in a unique position to film them carrying Charlie to the car. He wouldn't have got that shot if he wasn't up on that thing. He went right to it. He knew where it was. It's super strange. But after that, he goes and takes the SD cards out. He doesn't even take the cameras down. He just takes the SD cards. So he wasn't really worried about theft. People steal equipment. I guess someone might have stole the SD card, but you know what someone that's stealing something isn't going to do? They're not going to like be up there taking the SD card out there. They're going to grab the whole camera and run and then take the SD card out later, right? Like being there where he could get snatched up, taking the SD card out is stupid. He would just, whoever, like in this theory, stealing, would just take the whole thing, run, and then later take out the SD card. But Terrell wasn't worried about theft. He wasn't worried about the camera. He was uniquely worried about the video footage, okay? And I think that's telling because that's what he grabs and he leaves everything else. But this is the front angle, clarity, close up,
Exactly.
camera.
And so that proves the point, actually. That proves that we are too reliant on them. Rare earth.
And just look at the movements. It picks up everything. It's so crystal clear. It's high quality. I mean, I'd be interested to know how many frames per second this camera is shooting in, but literally it would show us every detail. It would show us the very first moment something moved under the shirt. We would be able to tell if it originated down here, if it originated from here, if it originated from here. We would be able to tell so much more, so much more. Okay, we would be able to see everything. It's I don't know that they'll ever let that footage out ever. It may not even exist anymore because I think it presents such a danger to everyone involved in this that, you know, I would probably say they destroyed it, you know. Yeah, I mean, that would have been the smart thing to do if they're evil and they're destroying evidence and wanting to cover up their involvement in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, you know. I'm not saying I would do that. I'm saying it's smart if you're a criminal to get rid of the thing that literally would show everything. You know what I mean? This is actually Boise. So this guy. So this is my my new, you know, home state. My home state is California. But my now home state is Idaho. That's where this event is. And the reason why Southern Idaho is not the same as Northern Idaho. I'll just say that much. Oh my goodness. But let's see. Yeah, at no point do I ever see Brian Harple pop up in the back. Literally, that was the only other event that I saw that happen at. Let's see, is that him? I speak too soon. This is one of the last one. I haven't been able to watch this whole thing. So he pops up here. So this now is the second time that Brian covers the back left. Okay. And there might be more. That actually might be Brian's normal position, the back left. Which, if we can find more with Brian Harple in the back left, then, you know, UVU, I mean, it may not even point to malicious, you know, intent for him being up front. Like I said, because that whole back area was cordoned off and they were able to guarantee no potential threats coming from the rear. Then Brian was freed up to look forward is an innocent possible explanation. But also him looking forward and being up front in the view of Hunter Kozak could be the main reason why he was up front at UVU. Okay. Let's see where he first pops up back here. Of course, the one video I didn't even get to the whole thing. Where does he pop up? Let's see if he's further back. No. So he first pops up. I need to write this down for my later review. right there. So he's there. And that is at 105.32. 105.32. He does always have that black bag with him. That's for sure. Nothing new there. Let's see. What up, Mitch? Are you watching? You watching? Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'll call you, my man. I'll call you. I promise. I told you. I'm sorry, man. I was freaking weed whacking and mowing the lawn forever. What else did we do yesterday? Yesterday was a long day. Exhausting day. All right. You know what it's like. All right, let's get to. I'll have to go back and look at this one, but even still, I mean, this one barely shows him. We're not going to get to see his whole how he crossed. Well, his arms are down. His arms are down. He pops out of view. Does he pop back in view? So he's behind the tent a little. Let's see. This is live. Yeah, I'm breaking this down with you guys because before I'd done these other ones, this was one that popped up on my thing right as I was going live, and I was like, "Oh, I want to see this." So I had it in my my watch history. So, and then he's gone again. When does he show up again? No. They moved the camera because now that's even more, that whole backside is more visible now. And then they move it again, and now it's cut out here. It's interesting. I wonder why they're doing that. Why they splice it differently at different times. Hold on. I wanted to show you the. Why? Where is it? The back angle from this event is different. Come on. Is it going to be before
Place in
this?
prayer. Why don't you do that?
Dear Lord, thank you today for gathering all these like-minded people and all these amazing people. If we could all pray together before.
Goodness, why is it not letting me?
Why don't you do a short prayer right now?
Oh, maybe it has to be paused for me to do it, and then I'll scroll right there. No, it's freaking A, man. All right, there we go. Yeah, same setup, right? Oh, Brian Harple's in the front. I'm gonna have to watch this one. Oh, his arms are crossed here. Holy smokes. We have a UVU repeating variable. So I'm saying, you guys, if we had a front angle of all these, let's see when he walks up. Let's see.
Charlie, can you photobomb us? Yes! Okay.
Great. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, so I want to talk about abortion, but before I start, is it possible to not talk about God or religion? Because I'm not religious.
Yes, he defends it from a secular worldview, like every time. Yep.
Yes.
At some point, we have to appeal to morality, and we get our morals from Christianity. All Western societies do. Western.
But I mean, we will talk about morality.
Okay.
Where do you get your morality from?
I don't know, like my parents, I
Nope.
would say.
Your parents.
Life
So
experience.
Where do they
I
get it?
don't know your parents. So how are we going to agree on morality if I don't know your parents?
I don't know. Can I?
Right from wrong is not subjective, needs to be objective, and it's not based on preferences, right? That's what the left and the liberals would have you say. That's why they can't say that the Holocaust was objectively wrong, right? And that's why, like, Charlie did such a good job of pointing out that weakness in their arguments.
I say it and then see what you think.
Hey, where
Okay.
did you go,
Okay,
dude?
so sometimes
Oh,
twins
further back?
in the uterus, one twin absorbs the other. So
Where the heck did he go?
Yes,
How did I catch
Charlie,
that
I'm
one
actually
and
from
now
BYU.
it's gone? Where are you, Brian? Brian, where are you? Okay, maybe if I scrub it like this and I go slow, 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 slow. I need to see Brian's stance again in the front. Maybe it's after her. What the heck? It was that quick? She's up there that long? What the heck? Where was it? I don't know. Oh, there it is. All right. Well, it must just be a very quick shot because it's in between the students changing. Did I write that one down? 136.51. I'm going to have to go back to that. 136.51. And I want to say this is USC. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what campus this is. Boise State. Wait, this is not the other one. All right, so there must have been 2 events. All right, let's go to the next one. Sorry. Because there is one where the setup is the same as UVU. That's one of my points at showing you guys, okay? This is normal setup. This is the traditional 90% of the time setup, right? Philip Goldsberry, AV, camera, right? Charlie, we got the front crew, and then we got old Danny boy on the back left. And then I'm not going to scrub through this one for Brian. Some of these I need to go and do on my own, not make you guys sit there with me. Right? So that chick's a known. She's inside the barrier. I don't know who she is, but she's a known. Right? And then let's see. Let me go quickly. All right. Next one. Let's go to the next one. So that was Boise. This one is California, UCR. All right. UCR. Now let's go here. Oh, this is one of the shorter ones. I hate it when they do this to us because you don't get good shots on this one. Is that Dan? Why does he look different there? I don't know. This must be old. This might be when it was the Schaefer group. I'd have to look at the date. The post date is not going to be accurate. 1 year ago, they take stuff, they edit it. This isn't the full video, so I think this is a full video. Let me show this one. Let me get rid of these so I don't get lost in my thumb tabs. Okay. All right, we're still rolling. All right. So once again, Dan Flood's in the back. Let me see. Let's see.
Yeah, Turning Point USA, USD for having this debate. And also, I would think the Turning Point.
This is Cal Poly, I'm guessing. I mean, he's wearing a Cal Poly hat. I mean, it's possible that it's not Cal Poly, but let me see the back camera lens from this event. But I mean, once again, so we know this is a more recent one in the last year or so because, I mean, his signet ring, instead of the black latex one, which he was wearing in that previous video that I just shared, the mic is this mic, which is the standard mic. We got Dan Flood back here. With the Schaefer group, the men were different. Yes, Brian Harple and yes, Dan Flood were part of the Schaefer group security team, which was the original security team. But then Dan Flood and Brian Harple underbid the Schaefer group when their contract was up for TPUSA. TPUSA took the cheaper contract for Brian Harple and Dan Flood. And then Schaefer group was kicked out. And a lot of the guys came. So Brian says that in the Sean Ryan and the Gary Melton interview. They're like, they have these guys, they're called the OG guys. Okay. It's original guys. I mean, I guess you could say it's the original gangsters, but the original guys from the Schaefer group that came with them when they started their own company, the Integrity Security Solutions. But then new guys were added on, like say Rick Cutler and some other guys. And in order, oh my gosh, my hat hurts. Hold on one second. I wear my hat sometimes, but see this thing? Oh, it pushes down because of the. There we go. All right, that's a little bit better. The only way new security team members were allowed on the team, as Brian would say, he had the tattoo. He's one of us. He's got the tattoo. You know, yeah, I could trust him. He's got the ink. He's got the ink to prove it. He's trustworthy. Like, okay, like, you get a tattoo. That's your appeal. You're appealing to his integrity, that we should trust you, that you trust him, not because of anything significant, valiant, brave, courageous behavior you can, reference. It's Brian's evidence is he's got the tattoo. He's one of us. All right, dude. But anyway, the only way new security members could be part of Integrity Security Solutions is if one of the OG guys, okay, so one of the guys that came with Brian and Dan when they left Schaefer Group, vets, and like, it's called sponsors. They have to sponsor a new guy, right? And it's like you're vouching, you're putting your name, your character, your reputation on the line for that new guy, right? That is the only way those guys were allowed into Integrity Security Solutions, Brian Harple's and Dan Flood's team. And yeah, I would say for me, Dan Flood and Brian Harple vouching for your integrity actually speaks more to the lack of integrity and questionable integrity than integrity to be referenced, right? Brian Harple lied in his telling of the story on Sean Ryan. He blamed it on Schaefer, right? He blamed it on Greg Schaefer and said the reason why me and Dan and the OG guys left the Schaefer Group was because they were doing unethical things, things that were unbecoming of Brian and Dan's integrity. So he already lied, and he said, that's why we named this new security team Integrity Security Solutions, because one of our foundations is our integrity. You're starting out on the wrong foot by lying about how and why you started this new company. You underbid your former boss and employer, like swept the rug out from underneath him, and then said he was, not someone that, Charlie should trust. And that's why you named the company what you named it. And it's just, I don't know. It's just freaking Brian, man. Really, you can't believe much anything they say. All right, let's get to the back shot here. Scooch. Where is it? Goodness gracious. Oh, Lord. All right. Yeah, I showed this one. All right, let's go to the next one. This, nothing of significance here. I guess we can scooch forward and see if Brian shows up in the back left at any time. Thank you, Mystic, for those 5 Blackline Brief memberships gifted. Who's that? Let's see who this guy is. Move, Dan. Move your shoulder, Dan. This is how Dan stands all the time, by the way. This is literally how he stands all the time. Like, there's a couple times where he shakes out his arms, but he never pats his bicep. Oh, I forget who I was telling. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't say this already. Thank you, Mystic, for the gifted memberships. I don't have huge arms. I used to. When I was in the Marine Corps and I used to work out like every day, I used to have massive arms, right? And one of the things, like I was like a large or an XL typically. And even with the XL, when you lift all the time and your bicep, it like scrunches up your shirt, your sleeve, right? Whether that's with button downs or just a regular tee. And so like one of the things you have to do is you have to like pull it and like pull it down, or with a button down where it's a little bit loose and it's not like cotton. It's like, it's a button down. It's a different material. You could do this. You could shake it out, right? To kind of reset it, or else it scrunches up in your armpits and it pulls up on your bicep. And then it looks like you're wearing those like Abercrombie and Fitch shirts from like the friggin' early 2000s where like the sleeves are literally that big. It's so ridiculous. So Dan Flood is a pretty buff dude. One thing you never do, and there's really no real functional purpose in doing this, is so shaking out the arm. Yes, I get that. Shaking it out, it resets the sleeve. Okay. Patting your arm, no functional purpose. None. If he would have gone like this and like pulled the sleeve, I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt underneath this. And if you pull on the sleeve, it resets it. Okay. Yeah, I get that. If he just shook out his arm, yeah, I get that. Shaking it and patting it and stepping forward at the same time, no functional purpose except for sending a signal to your team. In my opinion, that's the only functional purpose of doing that. Some sort of signal for some reason. And I don't know why. Oh, I want to see why Charlie's laughing. Let's back up.
Why are we moving it back to the U.S.? And my other point is
because less money is not the most important
by
thing.
moving it back to the U.S., what are you making more factory jobs? We're moving into a time where tariffs are behind us. Factory jobs are behind us.
Wrong.
Soon AI is going to take over these factory jobs.
And this is where you're totally wrong, man. We have 11 million manufacturing jobs that we need to fill in the next 5 years that don't require college degrees. Advanced manufacturing.
All right. So once again, holding the handheld mic in his right hand, that's his normal go-to. Number one. Yes, he switches sometimes, but it's always near him. His Rode mic is always here on the right side of his t-shirt. And he's always wearing a t-shirt, which is why there's not a lot of back support. Like a button down would probably hold it a little bit better. But it pulls on it. So it looks like this, just like it did at UVU. That's normal. Okay. What is normal for these events is no AV feedback issues. None. That is normal. UVU is abnormal in that regard. And it's really abnormal that Terrell Farnsworth and Philip Goldsberry communicate with Dan. Dan then communicates with Brian. Brian comes over, gets in his pocket, and undoes what he does in his pocket to begin with to create the feedback issue. So, yes. Let's see. I got a couple more that we can look at just to show you I'm not making it up, but this is the norm setup. This is where Dan usually is. Like I said, now I've only seen Brian Harple in 2. Before I was just the 1. I'm going to go back and rewatch that other one to see if I can see more of Brian in that. Let's see. This is the most replayed. Let's listen to this part. Most replayed. Let's listen to Charlie.
About life. So like a 4-year-old, right? What is the innate moral difference of a 4-year-old and a zygote?
One is more conscious.
Okay, got it. So I think that's irrelevant. I think they're both human beings deserving of protection. Consciousness alone is not a marker of dignity.
Agreed.
Okay, but so then what is your marker of dignity? Is
being a human being.
Being a human being. So is your argument a little bit circular though there? It's just like it's just because we deserve rights because we're human being?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's self-evident. We are human beings with a soul, therefore we have rights.
So we deserve rights because we're human beings because we're human beings. So like how am I supposed to win against this argument here?
You can't.
No, you just literally just said because we're human beings twice. That doesn't make it circular, actually. No.
See, okay, yeah, exactly. So it's inherently
it's called a self-evident truth.
Yeah. So
it's called self-evident. So it is. That's why the pro-life position is irrefutable. Because
these truths we hold to be self-evident, right? Let me make sure I get what is that? Just the Jim Bear member for 2 months. Yeah, good for you. Commentary so sharp and your humor makes it. Thank you, 100%. Thanks. I appreciate you, Jim Bear. All right, we are all caught up on that. Let's keep going. I got a couple more to show you guys.
Have to posit human beings have rights.
And that's that. And is not a kind of a concern that like we base all our entire ideology on this one illogical circle that.
No, it's not illogical. It's incredibly logical.
So like,
we are human beings, and we believe that they matter.
Like, if you were to remove this circle here, then you would have to actually be pro-life in the sense of be pro-life to all life.
Well, we are.
Kind of animals.
But we don't believe human beings are.
I'm not like a vegan or anything. I'm not vegetarian.
But human beings are not the moral same as a bird. It's not the same thing. For multiple reasons, because a human being has characteristics and qualities, and most importantly, we believe as. Do
you guys like watching Charlie? I literally do this still like all the time. So let me hopefully you guys like it as much as me. Nobody has been able to step up into this position and fill Charlie Kirk his shoes, his place in society and our culture. yeah, in conservative Christian life. And we need more people, men like Charlie. All right, let's see. Robin Phillips, thank you so much for that very generous super chat. Thank you for continuing to cover Charlie Kirk. There are so many weird things that day. Everyone in TPUSA and security acts so strange. In my opinion, they all are in on it, including the FBI, even UVU police. Yeah, and we're gonna look at. So I'm doing these front loaded, and then we're gonna look at the UVU review, and you guys will be able to see some of the differences. Obviously, like we don't have a non-TPUSA angle here, right? The only reason why we do from UVU, honestly, you guys can like him or hate him. Okay, I'm pretty sure it was BBC got a copy of the UVU. And I think CNN or CBS, they got it from UVU and did nothing with it. They showed like a small portion. I don't know which part. I don't remember. I just know from Blake. He was one of 3 people that got it. And he's the only one that shared it publicly in its full form. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have it, you guys. So like everyone can take issue with his approach and his attack on Candace and how he whatever talks to people on X. Yeah, I get it. Okay. However, everybody owes him a little bit of gratitude that without him, I doubt we'd have it. I really do doubt we'd have it. And I really wish that more people close that have connections to TPUSA would be pushing to get more videos released. The full video from behind. And even if it never happens, at least pushing for that front right video, which I know also I saw Blake doing on X over the weekend. And hopefully we get one of them in full, because I think that would answer a lot of questions, right? Maybe not the back one as much. Because we need to see at what point in the very beginning, where is the first part of the shirt that moves, high quality, close up, many, many frames per second camera. And then I think once we do, that will help illuminate the origin, the source of the energy and what we think is an explosion, which I do. I think it's an explosion. All right, let's keep going.
Christians, human beings, have a soul that a bird does not have.
Okay, so characteristics and qualities.
And only,
like...
let me interrupt one more. The West, whether you agree or not, sorry to interrupt, we believe the human being is the only thing made in the image of the Creator, Imago Dei.
Okay, so when you say characteristics and qualities.
Even though you guys, we here at the Black Line Brief are major puppy and feline friends, okay? We love the animals. But I would have to say there is a unique difference, right? Even though, like, yes, pets and not just pets, birds and all sorts of animals can have personalities, very, very unique personalities, and in some way could have conscious awareness and some semblance of a soul. But we as human beings at the top of our chain of species here in the world, not the United States, and on the planet Earth, we're different in some way, right? And in that way, I do agree with Charlie that kind of sets us apart, right? And that kind of puts us, I mean, that sounds kind of bad, but above the rest. Not that we shouldn't still take care of the rest, but it does set us apart. And we seem to be the pinnacle of God's creation. And I guess, that's in keeping with theology because it says so in the Bible. So take it up with God if you don't believe that. Go to Genesis and, I don't know. Take it up with him.
Qualities, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to me?
Well, first of all, not just the ability to...
I am, man.
Oh, yeah, I mean, look. Oh, you're talking about...
I don't see Brian Schmarple.
The pull-out method, getting a condom.
I don't see Brian Schmarple anywhere in this one. Let's go to the next one. All right. I don't like these ones when they're short. All right. This is not this is a full 2 hours. I stand corrected. All right. I forgot I had started that one. Once again, another setup with no camera in the back up above. Okay. Let's see
You guys know how it works. You disagree,
University
you go
of
to the line. We'll have a
Tennessee.
great conversation here. And go Vols, everybody. Go Vols, right? All right. Yes, sir. Welcome.
All right. So in a video before, you stated why should.
All right, so he has the box chain on, so that means I'm gonna say he probably is wearing his gold signet ring. He is. All right, there it is. So this is a pretty recent event. Those are two things that came that became a part of Charlie's daily attire after Erica Kirk. I will say this though, you guys, like his signet ring in and of itself doesn't mean it was like a fidget in the traditional sense of like an autistic fidget. Because like I fidget with I don't know why I can't get my finger underneath it right now, but I fidget with mine. I do this like all the time. I don't think I'm on the spectrum. But that, and somebody had mentioned like, oh yeah, that was Charlie's fidget. Well, just because you fidget with something doesn't make it like your fidget in the traditional classic sense, right? Like I think we all fidget with things at different times. And I'm not saying he's not on the spectrum. I definitely said that I think he is high functioning. I just want to be consistent in that in and of itself, him fidgeting with his ring doesn't mean that like that's his autistic fidget. I'm just pointing that out. Right. All right. So Dan Flood once again. Oh, wrong one. Did I do this one already? Yeah, let me get that off of there. All right, this is, oh no, I didn't. It's just, dang, my thing is so far behind. Dude, my video that I checked my stream on is so far behind, I would not even be able to know if I was pulling a Baron or not, if I had just my face up and not the video. But who do we got? We got a new super chat. All right, let's see. We got questioning obvious countdown before takedown. What do you mean you're questioning the countdown? No, there's a countdown. It's not Rick Cutler. He doesn't do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just so you know, Palm Ricky, whatever you want to call him. He literally does that. That's it. That's it. There's also nothing in his right hand, right? In order for him to even do that, number one. And number two, when his hand comes up, there's nothing in his right hand. He just moves his shirt. I think, and many others think, that he's just a distraction. It happens at the same time that Dan Flood does his this and this, which then sets off the final. That is the signal for Brian to, underneath the shirt, in my opinion, trigger that device. But for sure, the countdown, there's multiple countdowns happening, right? The moment Hunter Kozak comes up to the mic, and we'll look at that in a second when we get there. Let's finish these previous campus events, these old campus events, and then we'll get to the UVU, and I can point out what I think where the beginning of the countdown starts. And there's like a long countdown, right? And then there's like a quick time countdown, which really sets in motion as we approach the final question. But here, let me go here. And then I want to show you the back take on this one. All right. So once again, nothing on the left, Dan on the back left, and then camera, AV would be right here. But let's see if we can get a better back shot in between students. My goodness. Right. Oh, wait, there may not be a back camera that day. Remember, there's not one up above. We saw that in the beginning. So there may not even be one on a tripod behind Charlie on this one. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any back camera angles from the Tennessee event. Yeah, it's just a side angle shot. So, yeah. But anyways, this is how Dan stands the whole time. He never friggin' shakes his arm out, never pats his bicep. Yeah. Danny boy. Oh, Danny boy. Oh, dude, I'm going to do this one too. So Danny Boy goes away and oh my gosh, he is doing it. Holy smokes. This is Tennessee. You guys. Okay, Tennessee. I'm going to have to send this to Zach. Tennessee at, when does he pop up? Let's see. I'm going to hit play. I'm going to back up when we first see Brian. Let's see. Oh, Brian's there. Holy smokes. Tennessee Brian. So Dan gets a phone call or a text and vacates. All right, let's start.
Happens a lot at these southern schools, right?
I mean, it happened. I mean, I was raised
So
in Michigan.
how we can apply ourselves.
I am proud to be an American, and I think one of our greatest things about this country is the amazing wildlife and everything that we have, just the diversity of it across the country. Now, I find it really hard to agree. I find it really hard to agree that with Elon Musk about cutting, I believe it was 5,000 federal park workers whenever there are only 12,000 workers and they're already understaffed, and Yellowstone has over 1 million acres of land to care for. I feel like it's doing such a disservice.
Okay, so a couple things to note. Brian Harple, hold on, let me fix this. This is driving me nuts. Go Chiefs. Go Spokane Chiefs. That's driving me nuts, man. Oh my gosh, it hurts my head. A couple things to note. Brian and Dan wear really tight pants and really short shirts. And they're tight. And so, you know, one of the things that was pointed out about the UVU event is Brian pulling down his shirt because he's so concerned about something being underneath, which I agree. I think that is happening at UVU, and we'll look at that in a second. But if we just look consistently, that's also happening here. You know, I'm not trying to exonerate Brian. I'm really not. I'm just looking at this as it is. And he does stand how he did at UVU as well.
That we better be serious about cutting in every department, including the Pentagon, by the way. We should cut the defense budget as structure. Why would the world's wealthiest man
hold on.
go do this?
So he's got one under and one. I mean, I guess that's not totally. I mean, this is more comfortable for sure. I wonder what's under there. There's kind of no real good reason to not have your hand through to the other bicep because it just rests very comfortably. Having it like this, you kind of have to like hold it in tight together when you do that, which is just a little unnatural.
I want you to tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think.
I think it's because he is trying to get money for.
Or Democrats should abolish their party first, and then we'll
now
go.
Dan's back.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe he went to the bathroom.
I mean, yes. Look, here's the.
I'm sure that happens. Or there might also be weird people there. Yeah,
the president of Vols for Israel here.
Cops are there taking pictures. They're looking at people in the crowd. There's stuff going on, I'm sure. Yeah, they're doing intel right now. They're looking. They're talking. Man, there's stuff going on. I'm sure online threats happen before they get to these events. I'm definitely going to have to go back and look at that. But, I mean, we found another event and there's Mikey McCoy, the miraculous, the general. He commanded the troops like a general that day. He made a phone call. He did a 3-way phone call. Very miraculous. He knew how to do call waiting. Let's give him a round of applause, everyone. All right, so that's kind of that part. Let's go to the next one. Man, where is the one in my thing, in my history where the setup was on the other side? That's so weird because I found one. Is it this one? It might be this one. Hold on. I'll get there in a second. Hold on. So here, let's find the back shot. where it shows the crowd and the setup. Oh, it's not going to be once he takes the stage. It's going to be before. Man, oh, this is a short clip. That's right. Will they show it right? Man, no, they're not. Let's see. Is it just this kid the whole time? I didn't get to see this whole thing yet. Yeah, it's just this kid the whole time. All right, so that one's not helpful. All right, let's go here. Once again, so this is the Tulsi Gabbard event. And this typically, 47 minutes is not typically the standard time. They're usually an hour or two. And so I'm guessing they shaved off some time on this one. This is a recent one. So this is in the last year or so. He's got the signet ring. He's got his necklace on underneath it. Mike is there. So this is during the election season when they're the campaign. This is during the campaign. So before Trump was elected. This is an even much closer up shot, but let me see if I can get a better behind him shot in between students. No. Okay. Right there. I just passed it. It happened so quick. What the heck? It's right there. All right. We don't get a good shot. So this is the camera on the tripod behind Charlie. It's not up above. You could tell it's not on the actual canopy. This is the camera used to face at the questioner. These are the cameras. One of these two are the ones that we need from UVU. That's the camera we need to, and I mean, that's the camera that honestly the defense should ask for. The defense should ask for one of those cameras, man. The camera views, like the footage from it, 100%. All right, let's go here. Let me turn down the volume. Well, not all the way, but. All right, so once Henry Dell leaves. And I don't know why I had one in my history, you guys. I swear I did, where the setup was like this. It is rare, like very, very rare. Like I only found one so far where Dan Flood's on the back right and Terrell and the AV setup is on the left, but they do exist. So like I don't know why. Like I had it in my search history too, or my play history, and it's just not there anymore. Then this one's not it either, because this is brand, like I didn't even know this one until just now, but I mean it just popped up in my history is what I'm saying. And so signet ring, and he's got the necklace chain. I saw it on the previous. It's right there. We got Dan Flood. Let's see what the back shot looks like in between students, and then I'll go back to UVU. Oh, you guys, this is one of the kids in the very, very beginning of the assassination. Oh my goodness. Hold on, guys. Don't go anywhere. Wouldn't be a show if it didn't happen once. Hopefully nobody left me. Okay. Oh my gosh, how long is it black? All right, not for long. All right, sorry guys. Oh, it's because I went from X and then I put on a new. All right, here. So this guy initially, you guys, they thought this kid was Eagle Boy, or one of the people walking around the neighborhood initially, because of how just nasty he was with Charlie at this event. I remember this event too, because this guy stuck out to me. I don't even know if I want to give him any airtime. He just was a nasty person. you know. He's up there, and then he doesn't get his way, so he's like shouting on the blowhorn or whatever you want to call that thing. I forget what it's called. Speaker horn. And then they kind of have to escort him out of there. Wow, man, he stays up there a long time. Oh, this isn't a full event. This is just a short. I hate it when they do this. I don't like watching the short clips. I like in the full. All right, let's go back to UVU.
Where's the evidence?
All right, couple things to note, right? So the mic is set up is the same on his shirt. That's normal. Like I said, the AV setup being on the same side as these two cameras is normal. This camera is facing the speaker. This is the front-facing Charlie Kirk camera, and then there is one camera in the back up above. Some events in the past had them. Some events in the past did not. This is one of the only events that I've ever seen where Charlie is on top of a platform and Dan Flood is on top of a platform. It could be because, I mean, look, if you guys have ever learned anything about like tactical awareness, what ground is the best ground? High ground is the best ground, right? You know, like if you're down in a valley, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, so to speak, right? And so them being down on a lower level than literally most of the crowd, because that crowd steps up, right? I could even, well, let's look, right? Let's go here. Bam. Let me zoom in. Let me make sure I'm sharing. All right, I'll even make it bigger for everybody. You won't see my face, but it's all good. I'm okay with that. If you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. All right. They're down here on this lower level. Let's see. Boom. And then it steps up. Boom, boom, boom. And then it goes even higher and higher and higher, right? Because people are up here. People are back and up here. This is a second level. This is the ground level, right? And then Charlie and his team are down on the ground, low level, like fish in a barrel. This literally couldn't be like there. I don't even think there exists a worse possible location for any campus event. Like all the things that are wrong with any tactical situation, the UVU has it. This courtyard has it. And in fact, I mean, like one thing that we could do, let's zoom out. Could they have done it anywhere else? I mean, I'm sure they could have. I mean, they could have put it on a baseball field. They could have done it on maybe the soccer field. They could have done it, you know, maybe in a parking lot. They could have done it in this track field. They could have done it indoors, right? We got another practice field. I don't know if that's part of no, this is the Melissa Nielsen Center for Autism. I don't know if that's part of the campus or not, but that's a lot of grass over there. That could have been used. Maybe this area could have been used. Let's look in here. Why couldn't that have been used? That's big. We got a parking lot. They could have made, I mean, I don't know tactically if there's anything like super wrong with this, but that does not look like a catwalk, right? Let's see. Let me go angle. Yeah, I don't know why that. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Boom. What's wrong with that? That could have been a good location, right? That doesn't seem like the worst location. Let me zoom out. There's no other real good. Well, that's small when I think about it now, like compared to that last area, like just area of circumference, like that versus what's this area over here? No, that goes right into the parking lot. That's not very big, but I mean, I guess it's smaller. It is smaller, but you know, it might have been a better location than, you know, having the lower ground literally than everybody and being in the worst tactical situation ever. And then giving all of these potential shooting locations like up here, up here, up here, up here, up here, over here, all the way back over here, over here, over here, over here. I mean, yes, maybe that tree's in the way, but then over here, like, ugh, man. But so I went on a detour. The reason why I did that is maybe there could be an argument that putting Dan Flood and Charlie Kirk up on a platform was to help them have a better line of sight out into the crowd. All right. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying that is what the argument is. I'm not saying that is why they did that. I'm just saying that is a possibility. Okay. Oh my gosh, my nose is going crazy right now. Hold on. I can't even breathe. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I can sleep good tonight. I'm a nose breather. Who's a nose? Are you guys nose breathers when you sleep? If you're a nose breather, I don't know, raise your hand or something in the chat. If you're a mouth breather, not in the negative way, just honestly, put it in the chat. I want to know who's a nose breather and a mouth breather. When I'm congested and I can't breathe through my nose, I sleep horribly. He never sat high up. Yeah, not never. Be the light. Not never. There's a couple instances where he's like on different things. There's like, he never sat that high up. He was never on a thing like that. But there's times that there are other things underneath him. Never like that. I agree. Never like that. But sometimes there are different things. It depends on where they're set up. Are they on grass? Like the chair itself being put in grass, there's a lot of issues with that, right? Especially if the grass was wet. I mean, there's been arguments. Was it fake grass? Was it real grass? Like there's all these different issues with that. But yeah, I think the platform was so that no one else got zapped by the electricity coming from the mic. I'm pretty sure you're talking about the handheld mic. You guys, I'm pretty sure that's been debunked. I mean, John Bray does say that there's still a possibility for like being electrocuted, but there's not enough electricity going through that particular mic from what John Bray said. And I think others have said this to have killed him alone. And we do not see the shirt movement and the necklace snapping can't be explained by electrocution alone. Yeah. I'm going to sleep horribly tonight if my nose does not clear up. I'm just telling you that right now. I'm a nose breather. Let's see. Oh, Moxbox, you're funny. I was wondering if there was a nose emoji. I am a nose breather. My hubs is a mouth breather, and it's so hard to sleep some nights. Yeah. No, I'm a nose breather. No, the electric activities activates the necklace. We don't even know yet 100%. Is it stainless steel? Is it silver? The David Yorman necklace comes in so many different varieties, thicknesses. It could do stuff, yes, to the necklace. Metals can, yes, but do what we saw there that day? I don't think so. But steal the kids' medicine. My kids' medicine? What, like Sudafed? Benadryl? All right, let's continue. Okay, I can get that off there. I can. Let me fast forward.
You say that you think that LDS. Where are the golden tablets?
You guys hear that? Listen.
You think that LDS has more evidence. I just named two critical parts of the.
There's so many issues with that speaker system. It's like loud, then it's quiet, it's crisp, but then even there's a point where then Charlie can't hear Henry Dell, and he's like, I can't hear you. And yeah, we get to, I forget a point in this where we can't hear Henry. super interesting. Hunter Kozak is the most nervous person I've ever seen, right? The only person in the entire crowd rocking himself calm, right? Soothing himself by rocking back and forth. He is so antsy. He's in anticipation. No way just for getting up there to talk to Charlie. He's done many speaking engagements. He's tried to do a lot of things in media. His family's in media, in fact. No way he is nervous to get up there and just ask a question. Once we see Brian, so they got to go wide angle. Once we go wide angle, here we go. Now, okay, he just was in his pocket. Brian was in his pocket. What do we got? What do we got? We got somebody throwing in a super. I mean, let me hear it. Let's see. Here's $10 to buy yourself some Flonase. Laugh out loud. My son and I have terrible allergies, and it works wonders for us. Also, loving watching you. Unbiased and just looking for truth. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Charisse. Click. I appreciate it. No, share ice click, right? Share ice click. Thank you, share ice click. I appreciate that. I'm going to go get me some Flonase. Hopefully it clears up. Maybe it's just because of somebody said something because sometimes like my nose doesn't ever like normally itch. I usually don't get allergies. However, it is springtime up here in North Idaho, and it's like the flowers are blooming, and you know what I mean? Like it's all coming out right now. But like I won't have any issues before I go live. And then I'm live and somebody was like, it's because of the electricity on the mic and you're talking close to the mic and the mic is heating up your nose and your nose is getting itchy. I was like, oh, maybe that's one way. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if it's also like it's stuffing my nose up right now and I cannot breathe through my nose. I can't breathe. I'll try not to breathe in the mic. I swear. Nothing drives me more nuts than that. Oh my gosh. I saw this thing on Instagram. It's called something. I'll report on it next time. Okay. I'll report on this. It's like I'm self-incriminating. Not self-incriminating, but like I'm tattling on myself that I have this sensitivity with sound. Only with people like, smacking their lips, saliva, chewing gum, eating, drinking, stuff with their mouth. And it's like mesophonia or something. Like 90% of people their brain is able to like tune that out as background white noise. And there's like a very small percentage of people that can't do that because your brain, I guess, this is the first time I've heard this, is taking in like more information than other people where they tune that out, which does make sense. I think it had to do with, it definitely started after like my traumatic childhood where I had to become like hyper aware. I mean, it's kind of sad actually, it really is. Cause I was like 7, where I had to become hyper aware, but honestly, like me being hyper aware one night, literally, I think saved my mom, my sister, and myself. One night when I was 7 years old, my mom had already like left my first abusive stepdad. We'd gone to the police station that day. He had like left, supposedly the cops went, he's not at the house. And they're, taking pictures of, the wounds and things on my mom and myself. And then we get cleared. We go back to the house. We had this old, like 1980 something Nissan Maxima. We pull in to the garage. We open the garage door to go up the front, and I see that the motion light was on. And I was like, that's never on. And my mom or my sister, it was one of them, was like, no, stuff sets that off, like big bugs and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, it's never like that. It's never like that. And then thank God, like literally, I'm not using God's name in vain. Literally, thank God. My mom was like, everyone get back in the car. And we ran, slammed the door, jump in the car, lock the doors. And my stepdad, and I don't mind putting him on blast, Niles Heaver. This guy is the biggest scumbag in the world. and deserves to be outed 100% wherever he is. Comes barreling through the door and literally is like trying to break through the car, and like my mom peels out the back and we leave. But anyways, I think that's probably like somewhere in there is where my hyper awareness to everything began. And that's probably, I mean, as far as I can remember, I've always been hyperly sensitive to like people chewing and swallowing and stuff. But I just saw this thing on Instagram. This is a very long tangent. I'm sorry, guys. Where it said that people like that, it's called something misophonia or something like that, are very, very highly, I don't know, not artistic, but something. I'll look it up. I'll tell you guys about it some other time. That's a very long tangent. Let's get back to the real work. All right.
Where's the Christian belief on evidence?
Okay, he's wanting, Brian is wanting to go in his pocket. Okay, so this event, right? It's the same in many ways. This guy's always in the front. This guy is somewhat new. That tall, bald, white dude is regular, is security team member. And then the Blake guy is over there. Dan's regular. Brian Harple's regular. Frank has never been at an event. And then all of these people back here, anyone behind this barricade in the back here underneath the Hall of Flags is all unknown. They've all been approved. They're either working for TPUSA or their family, they're affiliated or something. Okay. That is traditionally, that's the case, right? What is different here is not necessarily the setup. Okay. I'll find it eventually. I had it in my history. I don't know where it is, where the setup is on the right at, I've seen 2 events, including this one. So that'd be 3 total, where the AV and the cameras are on the left-hand side, like at UVU. Not all the others I've ever found so far, it's on this side, right? So Dan Flood is usually back here. This camera and this front right camera are usually right here. And Philip, Terrell's never there, but Philip is usually on this side right here. So we usually have Philip and the AV stuff. We have the backwards facing, or sorry, the camera in the back that faces towards the student. We have the this camera that usually faces at Charlie. All that's on this side, on Charlie's left side this time, which means Dan can't be over here. His view outward would be obstructed by this guy. So they flip-flop. All right. And like I said, that's happened. This is the 3rd event out of so many that I've seen so far. There might be more, but that's all I've seen so far, where this setup is like this. I've only seen that one tonight where Brian comes up front, and he only came up front temporarily. Never is Brian up front the entire time. Okay. And so it's very interesting that he's up front, and he's up front on the right. That other event, he was up front on the left. Okay. Or on the left side or the rear left side. For whatever reason, they're set up today, he's on this side, so that maybe he can, you know, see Hunter Kozak, give him the signal. Maybe him having the device on him, he has to stand further away from the AV equipment. Maybe that's why. Maybe whatever is under his shirt and in his pocket, if the AV equipment were here, would cause too many issues. And that's why, I don't know. I'm speculating at this point, you guys, because I don't know these little variables of why they are different at UVU.
Just theological differences. Galatians 1. Are you familiar with Galatians 1? It says, what is it? It says, even if an angel comes in,
when does
it says
he
that it adds to the gospel, there's not going to be potential angels coming in. Church of the time.
So this is normal to stand at that one other event. He stood how he stands in a little bit with his both hands underneath. So I mean, take that for what it is. He does do that one other time so far that we can see. All right, so here, this is where one kind of sequence happens, right? Because right before he walked up here, he went in his pocket, he turned something on. There's an issue. They're trying to figure it out. He points back and says, they're having an issue over here.
Look, we just have a different worldview. I believe the
He
word
tries
God
to
is
ignore it.
I do not believe that the Spirit is
Looking around, tries to play it off. Brian does. Now he's going to look at him. There's something wrong with the system. Now he called him again.
I would just ask you, as you continue your journey of faith,
He called Brian over again. He's pointing. He pointed twice. He's saying there's an issue. He's going to point again. There's an issue over here. Yeah. Now he goes back in the pocket. Turned it off. He's pissed. He looked at him, pointed to his glass, and said, "What the heck? What are you guys doing? You're screwing up the operation. You guys need to get your stuff together."
in addition to the creation of the world.
And now she comes out, which is weird too. I agree, that is weird.
The Gospel of Luke.
Let's see when.
Evidence, but extra biblical.
All right, Henry, we need to get you out of there. Right there. Oh, let me back up. This is. Hold on. So right. All right. So he goes back to the X, and now Brian is standing like this. Which I'll go back at that other event and see how long Brian stands like this for in that other event, and if his knuckles are clenched like they are here underneath this left hand. He does on that one event have both hands under themselves, which is a little weird, but I'll go back and find out if I can find more and if I could see more from that to see how unique, how different is this really, right? But so right when Hunter Kozak comes up, it kind of does change everyone's body language a little bit. Everyone kind of perks up a bit, right? On the security team, they kind of get into position. Dan, he's looking around Brian and Frank. All right. There's this issue. Terrell comes over and tells Charlie, move the mic from the right to the left hand and place it over here. Switch the camera or switch the mic. He goes, switch the mic, switch hands. He went back in his pocket again. He just turned it on, pulled it down.
Ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should start talking about revoking gun rights for transgender Americans.
He said, I can't hear you. Okay.
So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Too many.
Boom. Okay. So Brian Harpole walked just off screen. Okay. I don't know if he knew that he'd be just off screen, right? There are other cameras that are on Charlie's left side that would be over here. What's weird is this guy's looking at something. I don't know if he's looking at Brian too, but he's looking in this direction. Okay. He took his eyes off of his own zone of a responsibility that's out in front of him. And he's looking either at him or he's looking at Brian. Not sure. Okay. But he's not looking at his own. And Hunter Kozak is about to look at either, I don't know. I think it is Brian Harpole. Is from what I remember. I got to go back and reference the left side video footage. But he looks this way, looks at Brian and grabs his glasses as if I'm going to ask the very last question. So you know it's time to hit the trigger. Boom. I'm not going to go any further. All right. That's about 2 hours, you guys. We held a really good crowd this whole time. You guys have any other comments, theories, questions, concerns you want to throw into super chat, and I'll read it. I'll answer. I'm here for you. You guys let me know. Yeah. So Mitch texted me midstream. I don't know. Maybe he's watching or not, but I said, hey man, sorry I didn't call you yesterday. I'll call you I'll call you as soon as I can. I promise. It's about to be 8:00 here. I still have to go shower. I need to shave and I need to eat and go to bed. Not now. I'm not leaving right now, guys. Don't worry. Stop leaving. There's like 13 people just left the stream. Whoa. We're getting 8 more people. You guys chill out. I'm not leaving. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Stay where you are. What do we got? We got Mountain Stars Studio, boost worthy. Locked down with a percolate. How interesting. Interesting. The plant is working. The plant is working on a metal. What? The plant is working on a metal that can be activated through electric shock. The plant? The plant. And no one left to talk about it a month later. What? Interesting. The plant is working on a metal that can be activated through electric shock. Locked down with a prill. What? Holy smokes. I want to understand that. Obviously, you're talking about some plant. You're talking about Accurate Energetic Systems plant that exploded. They were working on a certain type of metal that could be activated through electric shock and what explode? Shoot a project. Like, what are we talking about here? Can you laser triangulation? Laser triangulation. You got to throw me more. I don't know it. You built it a little. I get, like, I kind of get it. You're talking about a metal. You're talking about a plant that was working on a metal that can be activated through electric shock. No one left to talk about it a month later. So I'm thinking you're referencing Accurate Energetic Systems. I'm not aware they were working on a metal that could be activated through electric shock. And then a laser triangulation. Let's see. Mods into action. Ready? Yeah, AES. How did you hear that they were working on a specific metal that could be activated through electric shock or through electricity? And then what do you mean by activated? Activated to do what? To explode? To move? To shoot a projectile? Activated to do what? And can you drop receipts? Send me in the blackline brief at gmail.com. Dude, is that Glenn, did you make this? Oh, I can't. It has my wife's name on it. The go home Erica. Let's see. Can I? Oh my gosh. This emoji I'm going to download and upload like right away. Who did this go home Erica Kirk emoji? You guys are amazing. Are people using it? I can't see the emojis on my StreamYard end. I see the names. Like it just says like the words. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get this off screen for a second. Wait. Let me go back. You guys, why is it's like the mass exodus? Everybody's leaving. It's not over, you guys. We weren't done yet. We had like 275, and then I start talking and everyone leaves. You guys hate me that much? Dang. We love emojis. Yeah, we do. I wish I could show you this one without it showing my wife's name. Oh, wait, I might be able to if I click the image. Yes. Let's see. Oh, no, you can't see it. There's too much. You can't see it. Man, I wish there was a way I could show you. I don't know if you're watching, Zach. I will respond to your text message soon. Okay. Off screen. All right. All right. On it. Lockdown. Lockdown what? Sending to Matt. What are you sending to me? Matt's wife is the best. We love you, Mrs. McKim. What on it? What are we locking down? I just made it public. It's called Notes on my screen name. What are we all talking about over here? All right. Did somebody send me tonight's ending clip for Charlie Kirk. Our end of the night clip of Charlie Kirk. It's not in my inbox. There it is. Nope, this is something else. This is from Lockdown with April. All right, I'm not going to play that right now. I will watch that and make sure I know everything that is in that video before I show it. I've gotten myself into trouble before playing other people's videos without watching it first. Now, I'm not saying it has anything bad. I just let me watch it, and then we can watch it tomorrow together once I just confirm that it's all good to go. Not that I agree with it or disagree with it, but just that it's, you know, above board. But all right, you guys have any other things you want to say? Throw it in the super, and I will read it. Glenn, send me. Yes, hold Matt. I am holding Glenn Coco. We agree. The man in the brown shirt. The brown shirt. You guys are talking about Rick Cutler in the crowd. You really think Rick Cutler, you think he shot a palm pistol? For real? Is that what you guys think? Also, bearded dude worked on Squib. No, he didn't. No. Sorry. John Bray debunked that one. Yeah, so did Blake. The guy in the beard is Butch Hibbs. Yeah. The guy that is supposedly that the squibbers say that this Hollywood director that does like prosthetics and squibs, forget his name. Blake spoke to him. Okay. And that guy was on scene, not in Utah that day. So no, he wasn't there. Yeah, he didn't put on anything. All right. Let's see. All right. Rage. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, I'm not even going to go there right now. Let's get back to it. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I gotta do this real quick. I can't just read everyone's regular chat comments. It kind of defeats the purpose of other people putting in supers. If you want me to read your comment or a question, please put in a super and I'll read it. Or hold your peace till next time. But nope. Butch Hibbs is, well, there's, dude, here I am engaging with it. Throw in a super if you want me to go back and forth. Okay. All right. Let's get to the clip.
Did I appear on South Park?
I'm sick of people stealing my stick. If anyone around here is going to be a master debater, it's me. So let's go. Who wants to debate the master debater? Let's go. You right there.
That's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen.
You are wrong. Leviticus 3:17 says it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your...
Dude, I've never played a South Park clip, you guys. I get dinged all the time. I think this is going to ding me. I just have a feeling, you guys. I have a feeling they're going to say I used copyrighted material now. Okay. Just letting you know, anytime I use something from like a real network, literally every time they ding me for copyright. You know, I'm not saying Comedy Central will, but I'm guessing the AI that works for YouTube is going to recognize it as copyrighted material. Probably, maybe. I don't know. All right, guys. That is a good one. Go watch that episode of South Park. Charlie loved it. He said it's the biggest form of flattery. You know, Candace Owens said the same thing when Dave Chappelle said her name. She was like, I just think it's cool that Dave Chappelle said my name. Honestly, the way like Candace Owens thinks is much more in line with the way that Charlie Kirk thought. And his response to things is much more how Candace responds to things. And yeah, not Miss America Kirk. So, all right, guys. You guys any last words before we bid you adieu for the night? All right. Well, if you guys haven't done so already, please hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's how you help me and this channel out. I appreciate it. All right, you guys. Until tomorrow, God bless you guys. Take care. Sweet dreams. God bless. Bye. See you tomorrow.